Hello viewers, welcome to our YouTube channel this morning. Thank you so very much for choosing New Yankees TV. And as you know, here we give you the best. And like we always do it here, in the morning we have to start our day well by declaring God's blessings upon our lives. We don't need to wait and see what the day shall bring. We need to start on a good note. Today I'll just take your 5 minutes, guys. Pay attention and let's see. My topic of today is always put God first in whatever you do, because purely without putting God first, we can never make it. Barely going to fail. So guys, I always would want to tell you one more thing. Always put God first in whatever you are doing. So to bring this home, there's a story I'm going to tell you. Like I always do it, I always would love to talk about King David in the Bible. So there's a time, I remember David was called man after God's own heart. If you dare touch David, then you would dare God. So David was not a king to be played around with, because he used to stand with God both in hard times and in good times. So there's a time God gave David a call. Together with all his soldiers, they were ordered to leave their hometown and go into a foreign town to bring peace there. So, as always, David would do as God orders. So, without any failure, he took all his soldiers and went for the mission. As they go there, after the occasion, came back to their hometown. Guess what, guys? They found, the unfortunate. They found the unfortunate. An enemy had come when they were away, rubbished the town, kidnapped all their wives and children, burnt everything into ashes, and went. So think of how much they felt. They were so low, everybody cried. They cried and lamented. In fact, even the soldiers themselves wanted to turn against David, because it was the orders from David. David himself got the orders from God. And now think of you leaving your family in good state, only to find out that they are nowhere. You cannot tell whether they are dead or not. The house is burnt. There's nothing left. So they were down on earth. People cried. But one thing I love with God, when things are not too good, then they say it is never over, or it is never done. David cried. He felt so bad, but as usual, he's always an obedient leader, and that is why God has always stood by him. So God told David, "Wake up, my son, dust up yourself and go reclaim what is rightfully yours." So David told all his soldiers that they are going to reclaim what is theirs. The question is, where were they going? Did they even know the enemy? Nobody was left behind even to tell them the story. So at times in life, guys, I would want to tell you this. You may work for God, you may stand with God, but the unfortunate happens in your life. So they just took their own direction. They were so much in disbelief, they were just doing it for the sake of doing. So as they were moving within the bushes there, they came across a young man who was half dead, lying there in the bushes. So the first thing they did was to nurse him back to life, did some first aid to him, gave him some medicine, and within no time, he regained his conscience. So they asked him, "Who are you and what are you doing here?" So this young man was very much afraid, because he didn't know whom these people were. So he told them, "I'm the cupbearer of the king, and we just came from a foreign town into this city here to ruin it, and we kidnapped everybody, we burnt the whole town. But as we were traveling back, all along the way, I fell sick, and my king left me here to die." So David was, "Yes, God, thank you for your favor, because this is a sign that you still have us within the palm of your hand." So let me tell you one thing, guys, before I continue. Irrespective of the condition you are in, irrespective of how much you can feel God has left you or forsaken you, he will always give you a sign that is still having you within the palm of his hands, and all is never lost. So David, the first thing they asked him, and where is your king? Where are our wives and children? This man was very much afraid, and he told them, he tried to plead with the king, King David and his soldiers. He asked them, if you are going to preserve my life, if you are not going to kill me, then I'll take you to my king and where your people have been taken. So they all agreed very fast, and they were very much ready to cooperate with the boy for the sake of regaining all that is lost. So long story short, guys, David and his soldiers went and reclaimed what was rightfully theirs. They rubbished that town. They took what they thought was good for them. And you see, killed everyone there, but took what was rightfully theirs and came back to their home city. So let me tell you one thing, guys. One thing that I learned from this story is that when things are not good, God is never finished with you. And always, like we said, always put God first, because when you do so, he will crown your efforts with success. So for the first instance, we can see if David did not obey God, first of all, when God gave him a call to leave his town with all his soldiers, he did not leave even a single soldier to watch at their back or to be a security back at home. He did as God said. So the question is, who was to take care of his town? So God was the best security ever. It was now belonging to God. God was the captain there. God was the security. Now, why did God allow the enemies to win and to do all that they did? Now, God always does everything with a purpose. So one thing we see at the end of this very story, we really get to know the real meaning why God did all this. Why destroy the town? Why, first of all, go put peace there, find an enemy, go reclaim. We find out that God really wanted his people to live at a higher level. Maybe the kind of life they were leading was not pleasing to God. So how could God actualize this? It is the enemy, come destroy, go reclaim from your enemy. Let me tell you one thing, guys. All our blessings shall come from the enemy. Those who have been fighting us, those who have been on our necks, those who does not want peace for us, the weapon that they have set shall go back to the sender. They shall trap themselves within their own traps. Let me tell you one thing. David and his soldiers acquired enough wealth from this enemy camp, brought all this into their city, and rebuilt a new modern city that has never been seen. And that is what really God wanted them to be. God did not want them to have that kind of, maybe they were stuck in their cocoons, or they did not want to make a difference. So God will always use the enemy to lift us up. Let me tell you one thing, guys. Thank God for your enemies. Thank God for your enemies, because you will be lifted by the enemies. When you thought they could take you down, only to realize that they're taking you up. Everybody in David's town were now very happy. In fact, they were living a new set of life, and people were very proud even of their enemies. They were thanking the enemies. They could ask the enemy, come back, do again, because each time you try to push me down, God is going to use it as a stepping stone. So guys, I don't want to take much of your time, but let me tell you one thing. Thank God for your enemies. And by doing so, put God first in everything you do. Obey his word. God may allow the enemy to succeed and to be happy for a while, but that is just before God could decide to go reclaim. And later on, it shall be bigger and better. And that is exactly what we can see with David. When they went there, they reclaimed everything. They took whatever they thought was good for them, brought all this wealth into their home city. And now each one of them was having enough to rebuild and become better than before. They became, you see, the owners of the riches of that particular day. So guys, I just want to tell you one more thing. Your enemy is there to lift you and never to take you down. So thank God for all your enemies. Let me say this before I finish. Take a minute or two. Go to the comment section. Write whatever enemy you have there. We have so many enemies. Families are going through a lot. Enemy of disease, enemy of poverty, enemy of lack, enemy of, you see, being let down, or enemy of, disobedient or being disappointed every time. So I want you to write whichever enemy you have in your life and whatever you want God to do for you to surprise all your enemies. Let me tell you one thing. For the subscribers of this YouTube channel, for the viewers of New Yankees, for the supporters of New Yankees, God is gonna give you something to smile about. And all your enemies shall be stepping stones to you going up. Let me take this opportunity to just say thank God. Oh Lord, we come before you this morning. All the people are viewing this, all the listeners, Lord, all the subscribers for this particular channel. Lord, I pray that you may give them something to talk about. You may even reward them from their enemies. As you can see, David has been set to go and bring peace, Lord. But behind him he left nobody. But we believe he left you, Lord, the King of Kings. There is no chief like you. There's no security like you, Lord. Thank you, and may God bless you. Amen. So, guys, let me tell you one thing before I finish. I want you to face this life with courage, because you know whose you are. You are God's precious gift that He delivered unto this earth to stand with Him, to praise His name, because He will always be with us in every endeavor.